Do you want to go into the technical requirements? These are quite a few participants are asking if you could talk about equipment required, supplies, producers, this part of the setup.
Yeah, okay. So finding editors and producers, probably the easiest way to go about that, just drop me a line if you're looking for someone, and I can tell you about the various different services that exist, and I can even put you in touch directly with people that can help you. Regarding the kit, one of the principles that we covered in the webinar series was the importance of choosing the right format first. So decide what type of show you're going to have. Is it going to be an interview-based show? Is it going to be you speaking? Is it going to be a co-hosted show? That will determine the type of equipment that you need. The second step is I always start with what you've got. Use whatever kit you've got. If it's a headset or if it's just a smartphone, begin there, get some practice in, create some audio, and then when you start hitting limitations, then start investing in kit. In the webinar series, we went through the 7 biggest mistakes that almost every podcaster makes, and one of them was buying the wrong kit. What you don't want to do is be one of these people that goes and spends a fortune on the right kit because you've read something on the internet that said that's what you needed to start a podcast, only to find that the kit that you've bought won't actually suit the format of podcast that you've chosen to publish. I always start with the format in mind first and then buy the kit. But generally, there are some good bits of kit that you'll need. You may need an audio interface of sorts, a good microphone, a good pair of headphones. And if you're going to be doing your interviews, if it's an interview-based series, or even if it's a self-narrated series, if you're going to be out and about recording this stuff, you'll want to get one of these handheld recorders. But just a little bit about microphones while we're there, because let me find the slides around that. Because these questions come up a lot, and they've come up a lot recently off the back of the webinar series that we did. And what sort of mic do I buy? Do I need music for my podcast? And if so, where do I get that from? In the webinar series, we had a cheat sheet in there which tells you about all the different music directories where you can source royalty-free music. Very important that you get music that's approved for podcasts, so you're not breaching copyright. You wouldn't normally need to spend more than $20 to $25 for very high quality sounding music that you can have in the background. Lots of different styles, lots of different genres that exist out there, and you can, once you've bought that music, you can use it over and over again, have your producer create an intro and outro for you. And I'll quickly cover the software. Unless you're going to do your own editing and production, I wouldn't invest in any software other than the software you need to record calls. So for Skype, that would be Call Recorder by Ecamm for Mac users, and that would be a piece of software called Pamela for Skype for Windows users. So that's Ecamm, Call Recorder, and Pamela for Skype. There's a browser-based recording piece of software called Zencastr. That's Zencastr.com. And that's browser-based, so you can go and have a look at that. It means you and your guest, if you're having an interview-based show, don't need to download any special software. And there's also now some I'm pleased to say that there's, if your podcast series only needs some very basic audio editing, there is now browser-based audio editing software. So you can actually do your own editing really easily, really simply in the browser. If you want to have a look at that type of software, so browser-based audio editing software, drop me an email, copy Smaranda in, or drop Smaranda an email, and I'll send you a link to that software.